Well, welcome to the vlog. As you can see, I'm back in Bluebell territory. If anything, they're more vibrant now than they was a few weeks ago. It's just the conditions are so different. It's quite wintry this morning. It was very still when I first got here, the leaves were hardly moving, but now I've come around the top side of the woods. It's a bit more open, and I've come around here because it's very dark and overcast. I knew this section had a bit more space up in the canopy, so I knew it would be a bit lighter, which would help me get a slightly faster shutter speed and obviously more chance of some dappled light. Downside to that is I am getting breeze and it's still not that light, so I'm getting shutter speeds of 1/6 of a second f11. I could go down to f9, ISO 800, which I'm not particularly over the moon about, but with this camera I don't think it's too big of a deal. I quite like the composition, it's quite busy. We've got some ambient light coming from the left, and it is quite, it's a lot of rain in the air, so it's quite hazy, misty, so there is atmosphere. So when you've got that, a long lens obviously compresses the scene, puts the atmosphere right on your subject, as opposed to a wider scene. If it's quite soft and ambient in the distance, you're not going to get that in and around your the main. You're not going to get that in the shot from front to back. So by shooting a long lens, you're compressing the scene, and you're getting that ambience through the image, which is obviously more pleasing to the eye, if that's what you want. So yeah, this is just like a warm-up shot. I'm hoping to go around the other side and shoot back towards me, and then hopefully we'll get some slightly better conditions, but yeah, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. And also in this vlog, I think what I want to do is talk a little bit about Nicky. Nicky's been in my life for around a month now, and it's not going to be long, and I'm going to have to give it back. So let's do like a little mini review of Nicky as we progress through this video, and I'm going to talk a little bit about its features and what I think. So yeah, I'm going to grab this shot, wait for a lull in the breeze, fingers crossed. While we're in between shots, I just thought I'd talk a little bit more about Nicky. As you can see, Nicky is pretty much head height. I will put the stats up on the screen so you can see, but it is nice and high, which is obviously handy for shooting on ground that is uneven. You can drop one of the legs down and not really lose any height. By the time I put my camera on top of the Airhead Pro, it's well above head height. So yeah, it has height in its armoury for sure, which is something that I really wanted from a tripod, and something that Winston does give me if I'm on level ground, but I have suffered, particularly when I'm working on the beach maybe, or want a leg to go down if I'm stood on a rock, or like I've always said, on uneven ground. Nicky also has these big, I'm not entirely sure what they call them, but they are spring levered latches, so it's a case of putting it like that, with a clip, and then every time it goes down it locks itself. So there's no more pulling it out, legs swinging around. It's so easy to get where you want to be. It's an absolute doddle, and it's a vast improvement, I think, on the series like the Winstons and the Alberts. For me, this is a massive improvement. But one of the main reasons that I was interested in trying out Nicky was the bowl head. It's got a 75mm bowl head, so any 75mm bowl adapter, leveling adapter, will fit in here. I've just bought a cheap one off of Amazon to get me going, but it does the trick. Obviously this is perfect for panoramics, anywhere where you requires to get a level camera. Obviously you don't have to level these legs, you just dap it down. Although Nicky does have a leveling bubble on top, you don't have to do that anymore. As long as your leveling 75mm leveling adapter has a little bubble on it, which mine doesn't, you can then level your camera if you're on a hill like that. And then when you take your panos, no matter how high you're pointing in the sky or down at the deck, you're always going to be level. So this was a major draw point for me, and something that Nicky does very well. Yeah, and it's fantastically made. I just can't say enough about the build quality. 3-legged thing are amazing at producing high quality tripods. I've used 3-legged thing since day one, so I can vouch for the quality. You are sat on a Winston original. I have a Winston 2.0, which I normally use when I don't have this, and now I'm using this, and this does feel like a professional tripod. There's no doubt about it. It is a stunning bit of kit. The lever locks, not lever locks, the spin locks are slightly nice. They're slightly chunkier than the Winston. They've got these O-rings on them all the way around. It's so easy to use. And if I'm honest, when the tripod is at its closed position, you can grab all three, quarter turn, and they almost fall out on their own. So if you are in a pinch, if you're a wildlife photographer, or you are just reacting to light, you can 3 spins of the tripod and you are pretty much within 30 seconds you'll be up to this height, ready to go, which is a major draw point. And the feet, you have spiked feet. Well, I have spiked feet. I think it takes standard quarter and eighth inch thread. It comes with little sleeved adapters. Again, I'll put these stats on the screen. So you can pretty much put any feet on this. 3-legged thing obviously do feet for this. They do, I think they call them a stiletto, and they do, which is what these are. These are the older version, and they do a stiletto now with a rubber bit on the bottom, so you can, whereas at the moment I take the stilettos on and off depending on whether I'm shooting inside or outside. With the new ones you can just unscrew the little rubber feet off the spike, which is even more convenient. So the whole system offers so much, and Nicky just offers that extra little bit height, extra bit of stability. Again, I'll put the stats on screen, but Nicky is slightly chunkier than Winston. I think they're around 32, 33mm top section, and you don't lose too much size on the bottoms. It feels very sturdy from top to bottom. So if you was worried about portability, Nicky is a 4-section. If I stand back a bit more, you get a better idea. It is 590. I think it's about 590mm at this closed position. Obviously, the 4-section tripod, which is, I think it's called Tommy. Sorry if I've got that name wrong. I'll put the right name up here if I've got it wrong. Tommy's a 3-section, so it will be slightly longer in this, I believe. but Nicky is about 590mm, so if you were worried about gaining extra height and sacrificing some portability, that isn't the case, because Nicky is very compact, very squat down when it's like this. It slips onto my camera bag, doesn't stick up way past all the way down. It's very good at that. And as you can see, it's very chunky. And you can see these lever locks I was talking about earlier. They are brilliant. So yeah, it is a little bit heavier. You can't have one without the other. It is a bit weighty. Again, I'll put the stats on the screen, but it is a very sturdy, capable tripod, and it's something that I will try and add to my kit full time, because it is such a good tripod, and I do believe it is the perfect tripod for me. As you can see, obviously, the fact that we've got a leveling base, there is no center column. That might be a step too far for you, but for me it is perfect because you've got the extra height. I don't ever use a center column anyway, and it also means that I haven't got to take anything out. I think to get nice and low, this will go flat. If I put the legs like this, and you can just see how easy that is. See how low you can get. I could get 6 inches from the ground here before I start interfering with the handle, and that's more important to me than the center column. So yeah, right, let's move on to see if we find another shot, and we'll talk a little bit about Nicky's features a little bit further as we go through the video. I don't want this video to be all about Nicky. I still want to get some images, so that rain has eased a little bit. Not, but I'm still going to continue my walk and shoot back this way like I said I was going to do earlier. So yeah, let's get going. What I'm trying to do now is, as you can see behind me, this carpets of bluebells everywhere, but because there's so much green now with the new life in the woods, it's very hard to pick out, isolate something like a new bit of growth on a tree. It's hard to isolate that, or isolate one tree, because there isn't that mist and atmosphere like I had last time. The bluebells are probably at their best, if I'm honest. I think last time I had the light, but this time I've got no light, but the bluebells are at the best. So again, it's always a toss-up between coming back to the same location, trying to perfect what your previous best, and it doesn't always, very rarely do you ever get conditions like I did last time, but you never really improve. But it doesn't stop you striving to improve or find new compositions, for that matter. So what I've tried to do is, rather than get down low and walk and try and walk in on the paths amongst them, I'm trying to get a little bit of elevation and which will give me a better view, and hopefully I can point down on them and isolate something. But it is proven difficult. It is proven difficult. But it is such a beautiful place to be in the morning. I was up at 4:15 this morning in the woods for 4:45, but I just wouldn't want to be anywhere else, even in this crappy weather, this wet weather. But because of the wet weather, I knew that there would probably be some atmosphere and some mist. When you shoot in the woods, everything gets dark and rich, which I know I like. And if your far distance will then become a bit hazy and almost creates like a misty atmosphere because it's raining. So yeah, you have to try and use your knowledge and skills and knowledge of the area with the weather patterns to your advantage. And keep looking. So I almost gave up. I thought, no, what I'd do is I'll walk around an old area of the woods that I know is a bit brambly, and there are some sort of conifers, some evergreens. And I thought, maybe a little mix of the darker evergreen will help me bring out the vibrant green and the new growth on the beech trees. And I do remember there being some bluebells as well the last time I was here. I will put the image up on the screen now so you can see. This is not the same composition. That one doesn't really work anymore because it's like a horrible sort of brambly area which sort of snubs a shot. But I've come round to the side, found a nice bit of green, fresh growth on a beech with conifers in behind, which gives you that separation, and it's quite light above. It's the canopy sort of a little bit of ambient light, giving that beech a little bit of pop, and then you can see little bits of light down in the pines down in the far distance. So I think this image has legs, it has layers, it has a journey, and obviously the bluebells, the carpet bluebells, just help. I'm shooting around 135mm ish. Settings wise, it's around half a second. I have shot one at f11. I'm still struggling with shutter speeds. There's a tiny bit of movement in that tree down there, so I'm ISO 100. What I might have to do is bump my ISO up to say 400. I might shoot one in f16 just to give me that more depth, see if I can get some sharpness front to back, and just see which one I prefer in Photoshop. I might prefer the slightly shallower depth of field, or I might not. So I'm shooting to the left a little bit. I'm not particularly worried. I want to try and control. There isn't any highlights in the scene, but I'm happy to shoot to the left slightly because I know I can bring them shadows up a little bit in post with this Sony. So I'm half a second, f16. I've got a 5-second timer on. ISO 400. Yeah, half a second. I am getting sharp leaves. It's not too much movement down there. These midges are absolutely mental. Oh, they weren't here a minute ago. Now they're here. Now they know I'm here. It's absolutely crazy. So yeah, I'm happy now. I really was panicking, thinking I wasn't going to get an image. But I really like this. It's going to look. It almost looks a bit like a watercolour. I think these bluebells, my shots with this Sony, because it's so crisp and so much detail. If you're able to soften that a little bit in certain areas in Photoshop, you can really make the image look like a painting. The tones are very subtle, with a little bit of ambient light, which I am getting. I will be able to emphasise that in Photoshop, and yeah, and like I said, make it look very painterly, which is something that I'm really enjoying at the moment. So as you can see, Nicky is doing his job again. He's nice and high, which is what I was talking about earlier. That extra bit of height really does help when shooting on uneven ground. I am a little bit of a slope here. Nicky is just getting me that extra height I need because I have bluebells down here, and there is a twig right down in my foreground which I want to get up high and shoot down over. And obviously a little bit of elevation is helping me do that, but if I never had that height, if I was shooting on Winston, because I don't use the centre column, which I know was my fault, I don't think I'd be able to get as high enough to shoot down over the top. So yeah, so Nicky is coming up trumps here. The leveling base isn't a problem here because I'm not shooting a pano, but again, that leveling base would be brilliant here if you was to shoot a nice sweeping pano, even on uneven ground. So yeah, I really don't want to give it back, But if you are interested in purchasing Nicky, then I will put the 3-Legged Thing website down in below. And I just want a little disclaimer. I probably should have said this at the start. I am not paid by 3-Legged Thing. Now, yes, they have given it to me on loan. I have to give it back, but all the 3-Legged Thing kit I use on a daily basis, the 2 Winstons that I use, I have paid for with my own money, and I am not biased to them, other than the experiences that I've had. I'm not getting paid by them to say nice things. I will, if it's no good, I will say it's no good. But Nicky is a fantastic tripod, and it's something that I will be trying to add to my kit if I can reach the funds to pay for it, because I think it is a perfect landscape photography camera. It offers so much. Also, the legs all come off independently, so you could, if you are a wildlife photographer or you're shooting waves and you like to use a monopod, then you can do that with any one of them legs. Yeah, it's just a great bit of kit. So I just want to thank you so much for watching this week's video. I'm very sorry for those of you who are not interested in a gear review. This is kind of why I didn't want to do a separate video. I don't think I could do a whole video justice just on Nicky. I thought maybe I wanted to talk a little bit about it throughout a standard vlog, because that's kind of my experience with it. Well, it is my experience with it, and I wanted to sort of integrate it. So apologies for people that are really not interested in any sort of gear, but I think Nicky is worth talking about, and it is a cracking bit of kit. Right, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you liked the video. It is slightly a bit of it's not quite the same as what I was doing before. I haven't had the conditions I had with the Bluebells in my previous 2 videos. And thank you so much for everyone that's watched part 1 and part 2 of the little mini Bluebell series. This year has been just absolutely incredible for Bluebells. Yeah, I've been very spoiled with the conditions as well. So yeah, these shots are, I think particularly this shot, I think it's going to be really nice. The first shot I took is more of a warm-up shot, and I don't think that'll be going on my website or for sale. And also thank you to everyone who's bought prints as well from the last couple of videos. So I got some really good keepers, and they're selling really well. So if you are interested in a Bluebell or woodland or any image that's on my website, don't hesitate to PM me on any of my social medias, or fill out the little contact me page on my website. And as we're talking about websites, if you are interested in a workshop, again, when you're there buying a print, why don't you put yourself on a woodland workshop? This woods is like the it's like my second home. I know this place inside out, and I would love to take you around and show you around, and hopefully teach you a thing or two. Right, the rain is coming now, so me and Nicky are going to say goodbye, and we'll see you next week for another regular video. Whether I'll be in the woods or not, I'm not entirely sure. Ciao.